No, that's not true. That's Here, I got
Give them the Credit River decision on the thumb drive.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I'd like to have that. Yeah. Okay, listen up, guys. Very, very important thing. You need to write this down. This is called an Escobedo card. E-S-C-O-B-E-E-D-O. Escobedo, just like it says. E-S, that you act like I can remember it that long.
C-O.
E-S-C-O. B-E-E-D-O. Escobedo.
Can I see it? Never got up there. That card never got up.
If you send Bruce Oliver a request, make sure you ask for the Escobedo card. If you don't ask for that, he won't know what to send you. Okay, we got some definitions. Now, there is an exam here, so we all pay attention. There is a 33 question exam at the end of the way here. And if you can't pass it, you don't need to be doing this stuff. Yeah. Now you're awake, aren't you? All right.
It's not covering anything up till now, right? You know, you didn't tell us before. I was asleep all morning.
That's good. Now you'll fail. But I felt sorry for you, so what I did 33 questions. So even if you miss every one of them, you'll still get a 1. So I'm trying to help. Okay, we need to talk about a few definitions. There's some of them that you need to understand. Allodial is number one here. It means free, not holding of any lord or superior. You think that might be important? Yeah. A land patent is the only allodial title. Deeds are not allodial title because they have a superior over them. Allodial is true title, the only true title. It is owned without obligation of vassalage or fealty, and that means basically servants of the king. And the vassals were servants of the king. Now all that goes back to the fiefdom I talked about early. Okay, you ever heard of a fealty? It means that all the fees have been paid. It's free. It's held free and clear without any kind of encumbrance. Okay, the fealty is allegiance, the obligation. It's anything that you owe. Covers a lot of different things. It can be a contract. See, in fealty, you owed an obligation or a debt to the king that gave you the land or granted you the land to use because he wanted a portion of the crop or whatever it was that was the deal. He didn't give land away for nothing. He might have, yes?
Are these definitions going to be in the Are these definitions?
They're on a disc.
Oh, they're on a disc?
Yeah, they're on a disc, yes. Now, all of this stuff will be on the disc. You'll get all of this on the disc. But it's the obligation. The fealty is the obligation. It can be the debt. It can be the agreement. It can be the, like I said, it could be, a lot of times they sharecropped. In old ancient Europe, the sharecroppers had a fealty to the king in that they had to give him a share of whatever the harvest was. And the problem with that was the king might say, okay, we'll do it on a 50-50 basis, and then when it come harvest time, he wanted 75. And what did you do? If you denied him the 75, he took 100 and just kicked you off the land. So you were kind of bound, and this is the feudal system that our founding fathers got us away from. It's amazing how we've been put back under that again. Fee simple. A fee simple estate is one in which the owner is entitled to the entire property without unconditional power of disposition during his lifetime. That's pretty powerful, isn't it? A deed is a sealed instrument containing a contract or covenant, usually used in conveying land. Doesn't say much about ownership there, does it? A land patent, a muniment of title issued by a government or conveyance of some portion of the public domain. An muniment is just documentary evidence of title. Means you own it. Land in most general sense comprehends ground, soil, earth, or whatever, including anything attached to it. It includes water, trees, herbage, and buildings. Property, the unrestricted and exclusive right to ownership of a thing. The right to own it, possess it, use it, exclude everyone else from interfering with it. That's property rights. That's pretty powerful stuff, isn't it? Now, today, they refer to things in some areas of law, they include property as things and possessions on a piece of land as well. That can be considered property in law too, today. These are older definitions in an old dictionary. So some of these today have been twisted, but these are the real definitions. And this is what we're going to, because these apply back to when we had land patents. Okay? We have many, many definitions. This is just a few of the ones you're going to see, and you need to understand. We have hereditaments and appurtenances, which is stuff on the land, and rights to the land. Hereditaments is basically the right to own the land. It's usually handed down from generation to generation. And appurtenances is stuff on it. It's anything attached to it. And the definitions are a lot more involved than that, but that's the basics of what they mean. So any questions about any of these definitions? They're pretty straightforward. Yes?
Would land include minerals?
Yes, absolutely. Now this is a question that I don't have the answer to, is about mineral rights. If you sign them away, I'm not sure that you can own them. So I ran into this in a fellow years ago. He had some oil and natural gas on his property. Well, he had sold the mineral rights to the oil and natural gas. But somehow in the contract, they didn't get the permission to go on the land to get the stuff. So basically, he told him, said he didn't want them on his land, so he said, yep. He said, $30,000 a truckload just to use my right-of-way. And they had a flaw in their they had a fly in their ointment, you might say.
In Michigan, I know for a fact that if you have enough property contiguous to where you anticipate putting a well, that minimizes angular drilling.
Yeah.
That is some of the prerequisites that they use in Michigan.
Yes, they do.
Horses got like 4 acres to have one horse and an acre for every horse.
Right.
It's a similar type thing in Michigan. I don't know about other states, but I do know about Michigan.
Well, you know what we say down in the south about Michigan?
Pardon?
You know what we say about Michigan down south here?
Oh, Michigan.
We say those folks up there stayed up there, their brain froze.
Amen.
They can walk on water.
Yeah, they do walk on water though. Yes, ma'am.
In Minnesota, all the mineral rights are owned by the state.
Yeah, that's possible.
So,
Don't know if it's legal or lawful or not, but
you have a little title, then what happens?
that's an interesting thing. I don't know yet. We're going to have to figure that out. I kind of suspect that they probably can't come on your property to take any minerals off.
That's what I'm thinking.
So not sure that they wouldn't be willing to work a deal if they need them. Most of the states just use them as to finance against, to borrow money against anyway. I think that's what they do with most of it.
Question.
Yes.
On the original land patent, came with the mineral rights, but then sometime along the line in the abstract, the property was back delinquent in taxes, and the state owned it, and then the state sold it but kept the mineral rights.
State cannot own it.
Okay, that's right.
So that about answers your question.
State cannot own land.
So they don't have a right to.
They're a corporation. Corporations cannot own, they can only use land. They can't own land.
So all of the state parks and property,
They belong to the people. They don't belong to the state. They're just the custodians of it. That's all they are. They act like they own it sometimes. But the truth is they're just custodians. They're trustees of it for the public. But they forgot that. We need to remind them. That'd be kind of cool if somebody that has a patent on land that has been confiscated by the state to make state parks, and they update that patent.
Oh, way.
Wouldn't that be kind of interesting? I know of some cases that actually happened. I know a fellow, the Glass family up from where I'm on, the military did eminent domain and built them a very nice airport. All they got to do is go back into, because it says right in the law that the government loses all title and rights to the property when they do a patent. Yes?
Didn't you say last seminar that the woman was bringing land patent forward for DC or something?
I don't know about that one. Somebody else.
Somebody else mentioned that.
So I think somebody at the seminar said something about it. I remember hearing some things about it. I don't know about personally about it. I think that it could be done though. I don't know what happened, but I know the state of Virginia in 1975 took 32 square miles of property away from Washington in 75. I don't know how they did it. Yes.
How about mining claims on federal property?
I don't know the ins and outs of that, but if you have a patent on the land, you own it.
We don't have a patent on the land, but we got rights on a number of claims.
The problem with most of that is it's on public lands, and they never did issue a patent. And so it belongs to everybody, basically. But BLM thinks they own it, and the federal government thinks they own it, but really it belongs to the people. If you've got a piece of land that's that way, I'm not sure that you can patent it, because I don't know that there was a patent issued on it. Some of it never was. Yes, sir.
Can I contribute something? Private land was held by the sovereign before the government was created. The government, the general government, United States, government de jure, had no right or interest in that land. They could only issue a patent regarding public lands that were not privately held at the creation of the government de jure or later obtained as public lands by government de jure in the name of the people.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about land patent law. Now it's nice and it's good and it sounds great, but can we back it up? Nothing's worth a hoot if you don't have the law behind it. We don't, and believe me, we can. We have lots of case law behind this. This is some of the things that I just wanted to show you. And this is just very few. I've got probably 350 different cases. The patent alone passes land from the United States to the grantee, and nothing passes a perfect title to the public lands but a patent. That's Wilcox versus Jackson at 13 Peter U.S. 498. Federal case. U.S. case. Okay. Patents are issued and theoretically passed between sovereigns, and deeds are executed by persons and private corporations. Ooh! Deeds are executed by who? By corporations. Without those sovereign powers. But patents are passed between who?
Sovereigns.
Sovereigns. Now, if there aren't anything such things as sovereign, how are they passing land? Kind of interesting question there. I'm going to have to ask those sheriffs in court. And that was a leading fighter versus County of Gregory case, 1975. So the patents, yeah, that's a recent case, relatively recent. Land patent is the highest evidence of title and is immune from collateral attack. Ooh. Y'all think y'all like that? I do. What does that mean?
They cannot confiscate, they can't take it from you.
It means they don't have, nobody has standing to attack it.
Checkmate.
That's exactly what it is, checkmate. They can't, the only reason that they can attack a patent is not the validity of the patent at all. It's only if you have fraudulently brought the land forward and you didn't really own the land, or you didn't have a title, proper title, if you didn't have a real deed.
Is it true if you initiate the process of a patent that would stop any foreclosure, or you would have to go
Nope.
through the whole process?
That is not, that's a myth. A land patent will not stop a foreclosure. However, even if they foreclose, they can't take the property. They can't take the land. So let them foreclose, so what? La-di-da-di-da. Foreclose.
It's just a piece of paper for them.
That's it. What are they going to accomplish? It's okay, we foreclosed on your land. Have a nice life. They just abolished your debts, what they did. You're going to live happily ever after. Do we care? So this is a situation for banks. It's really tough.
Somewhere you say, put up a sign, no trespassing, this land is patented.
Oh, absolutely. We'll get to that too. You're supposed to post it. Actual or threatened exercise of power over another is coercion and duress, which will render the payment involuntary. Cleveland versus Smith. I've got bunches and bunches and bunches of cases.
Exercise of power over another.
Mm-hmm. Now, in Bond versus U.S., it says that no one can be kept in prison for a law that was not properly legislated. Not one day. It says they can't be kept in prison one day.
There's no law. And anyone that is incarcerated.
Yeah, they do. But the Supreme Court just did that in July. Of this year.
Yeah.
July the 16th, the Supreme Court, by unanimous decision, decided that in that case, that they cannot hold anyone for a crime that does not have a positive law behind it.
What was the name of that decision?
Bond versus U.S. It was July the 16th, yeah, this year. That was what the Supreme Court said. Yes, sir.
In that situation involving federal business,
Yes.
Title 18 never passed reform clause of the Constitution.
That's right. The Title 18 was never passed into law. And now every person that has been convicted under Title 18 is being held in conflict with Bond versus U.S. Kind of an interesting little situation developing here.
And Bond versus U.S. says that anyone that is incarcerated under such laws should be immediately released.
Yes, and they can also come after them for damages.
Yes.
It's going to get kind of interesting in the next little while. I told you, how many of y'all remember me telling you that last summer, when everything was so hot and heavy in the Republic, that there was a shift back to a different position about to take place. I already had some inside information that the Supreme Court was already leaning back toward the Constitution. Now this is a big ship and it takes a long time for it to turn, but it's starting to turn, folks. And it's turning in our direction. And it's turning. And it's not going to turn quickly, and it's going to have to run over a lot of people to turn, but they're going to get run over.
I thought it was quite interesting as well that when Obama was giving his speech and the Supreme Court justices were sitting there, and he criticized a passage of some law or some judgment they had just made, and the cameras panned over, and Scalia sat there shaking his head and said, "No, that is a lie." Read his lips. That is a lie.
Yeah.
President Truman,
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I posted Bond versus U.S. on the Minnesota website, and I got a note from somebody in some legal speak saying that it doesn't apply to anybody outside of that particular case.
That sounds like Larry Beecraft stuff or Bob Hurt. Yeah.
They tried to stop him from acts.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the name of the game. It's not going to help them though. Let's see.
Right, that was just fluff to scare those who would say, okay, it doesn't apply to us. Yeah. It don't matter.
Oh, he was a bar.
Yeah.
Shaking in the boots.
Okay. Let's go into a little bit now. This is just Alabama code here, but you're going to find it's the codes are standard across the nation. Let's see if I can get it up here. There it is. Okay. Okay, this is prima facie evidence and conclusive evidence of title. Okay? Against all parties to the complaint who have made no answer thereto within the time allowed for such purpose, and against all persons not intervening in said case and claiming an interest in said lands prior to the time the case became an issue, proof of actual peaceable possession by the plaintiff in color of title to said lands in the plaintiff shall be conclusive evidence of title to said lands in plaintiff. What does that say? That if nobody contests your claim with proof with evidence, then your your deed stands as proof of title. That's what it's saying. Yeah. And this is talking about in cases when somebody's when you're making a claim, when you're stating a claim. Public notice is a statement of claim. That means that if I make a statement in public, and publish it in the newspaper, post it at the post office, whatever, then somebody to challenge that has got to come forward with proof. Okay? They usually end up in a court setting. In fact, I'm going to show you how to put it in a court setting. And make them come forward if they have any. And I can tell you they don't. Against all persons who have neither paid any taxes upon said lands nor had any possession thereof or any part thereof during 5 years next preceding of the filing of the complaint. Against all parties to the complaint. Whoa, wait. Did y'all get that? It says to any party that hasn't paid taxes in 5 years. They can't bring a complaint. What is the bank doing?
Paying taxes.
They're not paying taxes. No, they're not paying the taxes. They're paying taxes from your escrow account. They're trying to get by with it that way, but even the law, if you'll read on down in the law like I did, it says that if you are causing the taxes to be paid, then you are the one paying the taxes. So if it's out of your escrow account, who's causing it to be paid? Okay. All right. That's a little trick they're using on you too. Okay. But if you've neither paid any taxes on the said lands or had any possession thereof for 5 years preceding the filing of the complaint, then they're going to rule against you. Well, why aren't we bringing this stuff up? Because this is the same in your state. It might not be exactly the same, but it's similar, I'll promise you. Because this is out of the code. You ever heard of uniform codes? That means that all states have them. And they're all a lot alike. You need to check your codes. Because this is what the courts have to go by. Let's see. Proof of color of title to said lands in the plaintiff or in the plaintiff and those who through who claims title and payment of taxes during the said 5-year period by the plaintiff, blah, 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 is proof of claim. It's proof of title. So if you've got a deed, you can show that you have paid the taxes for 5 years. Then you know what you can do? You can take your little paperwork that we're going to show you how to fill out, and you can file that in either a county court or in a federal district court. I like federal district court better because they're bound by law to rule in your favor. And I can show you that too. And how is a bank going to come against you?
It could own the judge.
Don't make any difference. If the judge can only follow the law. I'm giving you the law here. This is legislated stuff here. Okay? He's bound by this. Now, when the judge refuses to obey this, he just put himself in a criminal liability. This stuff is what he's bound by. He's bound by it. Okay? Now, and you can read this stuff. I think this is on your disc. It will be if it's not already. Now, and it goes on. That's just, you can read this through this. I'm not going to read it all to you. You're big boys and girls. But this is evidence of proof of claim. And this is in the Alabama Code. And if you'll go look in your state code, you're going to find there's a lot of similarities there. Okay, who may file a complaint to establish right or title to lands? Now this is this year's code too, by the way. So who may file a complaint to establish right or title to lands or interest therein? When any person, natural or artificial, claims either in his own right or in any representative capacity whatsoever to own any lands or any interest therein, and is in the actual peaceable possession of the land, or if neither he or any other person is in the actual possession of the land he holds and has held color of title to the lands or interest so claimed for a period of 10 or more consecutive years next preceding, and has paid taxes on the lands or interest during the whole of such period, or if he, together with those through whom he claims, has held color of title and paid taxes on the land or interest so claimed during the whole of such period of time, or if he and those through whom he claims have paid taxes during the whole of the period for 10 years on lands or interest claimed, and no other person has paid taxes thereon during any part of said period, he may, if no action is pending to test his title to interest in his right to the possession of such lands, file a verified complaint in the circuit court of the county in which such lands lie against said lands, and any and all persons claiming or reputed to claim any title to, interest in, lien or encumbrance on said lands or any part thereof, to establish the right or title to such lands or interest and clear up all doubts or disputes concerning the same. Whenever you file that claim, if you're the one that has the deed in your name and you have paid the taxes on it for 5 years or more, and you file the claim, guess what? The bank has got to come forward now and prove that they have a deed that's as good as your deed in their name, and they've got to show that they paid the taxes for 5 years. Actually, they have to show they've paid the taxes for 10 years on an adverse claim.
But if you file for that tax, you're not paying taxes.
Well, you don't have to anymore.
So
Once you've got the patent established. So this is I'm just showing you, this is with a deed you can do this.
oh, that's what the deed.
That's just with a deed. A land patent trumps this all to pieces.
Okay.
But is that an accepted deed? Is that when you sign accepted?
There you go. There you go. Because you don't have standing unless you have taken delivery and accepted the deed. And that's where they're getting you. The law is very clear about ownership or possession of land. The bank cannot take possession. It's called adverse possession, and I'll show you that next. What do you have to do to take adverse possession? Because that's what the banks are doing. Unless you volunteer and give it to them. These are the Alabama rules of adverse possession. When title of land conferred or defeated, when claim made defeated or prosecuted, construction of the section. Adverse possession cannot confer or defeat title of the lands unless the party setting it up shall show that a deed or other color of title purporting to convey title to him has been duly recorded in the office of the judge of probate in the county. Now what did you do? You never accepted the deed. So they've appointed a trustee because you hadn't showed up yet.
And what did you say, you have 3 years to show up?
No, you can show up anytime, but the tax money is not recoverable after 3 years. They do a 1099-A after 3 years and call it abandoned, and they get to keep it. Because the owner, they're waiting on the owner. He may be dead somewhere. They don't know. But see what I'm saying? The point is, they have to have a deed. This is adverse possession. What bank has a deed? Okay.
What if they sold, if they sold the property and somebody else is living in it?
Don't make any difference.
They haven't accepted the deed either.
They don't know. That's right. So when you bring the patent up in your name, you own the land, period, and then you can deal with the tenant however you want to. It's your business, but be good to your brothers.
On the premise of the 3 years and you've abandoned,
Yes.
wouldn't it be a separate case if you went after the fact that you didn't accept the property due to the deception?
That comes to a fraud case.
With intention.
Okay, we'll talk about that too, because if you can prove that it was fraudulent, then they got to pay you treble damages and give you back the land.
Exactly. Okay.
Ooh, ain't that sweet? Yes, sir.
Can you explain color of title, because
Yes.
law was a bad thing?
Okay, color of title is exactly the same as color of law. It appears to be, but it is not.
Okay, so we're not looking for color of title.
No, you're not looking for, you're looking for a lodial, true title. That's what we're going to show you how to do. Okay, but I'm showing you the difference between the two in law so you will understand. You got to have a legal footing, a legal standing to understand how to do this and defend it. And if you don't know the difference between a lodial title and a deed, which is color of title, then, but see, I'm trying to explain to you the importance of that deed though. Even with a deed, you can go to court and win. Even without a lodial title. The deed does indicate that you have interest in the property, even though it doesn't indicate ownership. But you have the highest interest because you have the deed. The bank doesn't have a deed. Unless you gave them a trust deed. Some of you did. And that's where you get into trouble too. If you gave them a trust deed, they do have a deed. Okay.
Can you revoke that first?
Yeah, you can. Under fraud and deception, yes you can. Okay. Okay, and that land has to be duly recorded, and this is talking about adverse possession, guys. Adverse possession means they're coming after your land and trying to take it.
Right.
That means they've got to show they paid the taxes on that land for 10 years and produce a deed. Doesn't it say that?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, your state says the same thing. Or something very similar to this because of the Uniform Code laws. Okay, because this is out of the Alabama Code. This is not statutes, regulations, and ordinances. This is code. Yes?
What if they come with a sheriff's deed? After a foreclosure sale, don't they get a sheriff's deed?
A sheriff's deed is inferior to a land patent. It won't. In fact, I got case law on that. Yes?
When you want to speak or represent, or you want to be not represent, but you're with somebody's behalf, the judge says, where's your bar card? Your bar card. I don't want to speak to you unless you have a bar card.
No, you don't have standing, basically. You're not a party in interest. What you can do is you can have them sell you $5 worth of the land and you become a party in interest. To deed it to you.
I mean that little pail of dirt?
Yeah. Right. Here's my interest, Judge. They sold this to me a while ago. Yes, sir. Yes,
If you have a loyal title, then what happens if you were to need the fire department, police department, something like that, and you have a loyal title, they don't have rights to come onto your property?
You can contract with the police and fire departments if you like.
And have to do a separate contract?
Yep. You'd have to do a private contract with them to pay the fees, and then they would do it.
And I have
They're not going to turn your money down.
I have a licensed daycare in my hometown.
Mhm.
So what would that then do to my license that I hold through the state?
Nothing that I know of.
Title on my property, then legally they can't come in.
No, they can't.
So then what happens? They'll literally have the police department standing at my driveway intercepting the children so they can't come into my home. Because they've done that to other providers.
That's possible. I can't answer that. I don't know.
Could you give them a waiver? I mean, you know, so, I don't know.
Wouldn't that be kidnapping someone standing at the driveway taking?
It could possibly be.
Kidnapping if the parent didn't agree with it.
Well, you've got to understand, you got a lot of contracts. Okay, that's why they do what they do. First of all, you don't. Everybody thinks that their children are theirs. They're not. They belong to the state. You gave them to them years ago. When you got married and you got a marriage license, you deeded everything that you have to the state. Everything that was created during that marriage, the product of that union belongs to the state. And that includes not just your children, but all your property that you accumulate during a marriage belongs to the state as well.
Then we should be able to give our debts to the state.
Well, yeah, I think you should. We can, actually.
Well, not only did you give them the right to any property from the marriage, then when the children were born, you turned them in and told them, here it is, come get them.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, you gave all your property to the state. And it's all been done deceptively. You can break the contracts, but still. The point I'm trying to make with these laws here is that anybody that claims adverse possession has to have proof of claim. Now, where is the bank getting the proof of claim? They're not. They go into these little county courts and they bought the judges, and the judges are giving them your land. Okay? Because you're ignorant. Because you didn't stand up and take possession of your land. Now, once you take possession of that land, all of a sudden they got a whole other problem. And it's a major problem. They don't have any way to overcome because they have no standing then. Right now they have all the standing because you're coming there, running your yapper at the judge, telling him that you own this land and you paid for this land, and all he sees is a tenant here running a gator. That's all he sees. And legally he's right. He's right. So you got to get out of the tenant role and become the owner. Then you have standing. And once you've got standing now, all of a sudden you walk in there and talk to the judge like you got good sense, whether you do or not. And he'll understand what you're saying. You're speaking a foreign language to the judge. The judge is not violating the law. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. We just don't understand the law. Or at least most of us don't. But I'm trying to tell you the little things that are causing you problems in these foreclosures. First of all, you've got to go in standing as the owner of the land. Things all of a sudden are going to change now. Because all of a sudden now, you have standing to be in court. Before you didn't even have any.
Taking that delivery, is that the process that someone's teaching in Tennessee where the people are trying to go down, get their deeds, and file it, and of course they're not filing.
Of course not.
They're taking them and
yes, that's exactly what they're doing.
But they're doing everything but filing.
And that's the reason I got involved in this, because some of the people that are doing that contacted me and said, you know, we know we're on to something here, but we got to find out how to make it work. Well, so we've made it work. That's as simple as that. We went in and researched it a little deeper and found the law, and that's what I'm showing you, these things, the concepts you've got to understand, because doing the process is easy.
Right.
It's the foundation that is the difficult part. You have got to understand that you've got to have standing if you're going to deal with banks and courts. And if you don't have standing to deal with banks and courts, you're going to lose. Yes, John?
Even outside of a foreclosure case, don't you think, and this is how I feel, that the cornerstone of the sovereign movement was that we didn't have ownership of the land, which just as it is a requirement to be a qualified elector, I think in order to be for the courts to recognize you as a sovereign, isn't it almost imperative that you have true ownership of your land?
Yes. You can't, how can you be a sovereign living in somebody else's house? Yes, Ron.
Messenger, I'm wondering, okay, what if we get the tide to begin turning here? And then what if people come in and try to make a commercial, for-profit, start trying to work what we're doing for...
They can't do what we're doing because the key element to what we're doing here is that we have our own records bureau to record in. And unless they go through one of the teachers that we are training, they're not going to be certified. That's the reason you've got to be certified, and you will get a certificate stating you completed this course. And that certification will have a number on it, and that certification will be sent to the Records Bureau, and it will be on file in the Records Bureau. You'll have yours, and they will have a copy as well. It'll be scanned and sent to them. Okay? Unless you, when you send in your documents, have that certification number on them and a control number that comes from the main office. We've got 2 checks and checks and balances. Unless it's got those numbers on there, they're not going to record your documents. That way it'll stop the people, the sharks, from getting involved in this process and ripping the people off. You know, we've got this thing down to a price that people can afford to do. The total process to have this done is $580. That is peanuts nowadays. It's peanuts. Okay? We want to keep it that way. This is not about making money, it's about helping your neighbor. Now, if you can make some money and help your neighbor and be good to your neighbor too, that's a win-win for everybody. We know the people out here need to work. You can't, believe me, I have donated my time until I was about to put myself in the poorhouse. But that's not what people are supposed to do. You're supposed to be responsible. And if you can keep your family going and be good to your neighbor and help your neighbor too, that's a good thing. And that's what we've designed this for. Now, doesn't mean you're going to live in poverty. You're going to make some money. You're going to do okay. Okay, by doing this. When you see the process, you'll understand when I show you the rest of it. The bottom line is this. We've got to control this process, and we've got to unite across this nation, and we all have to do the same thing.
That's right.
If we want to win, we've got to use some intelligence here. The Patriot community has been so splintered that they've been laughed at. For the last 40 or 50 years, they've just absolutely been laughed at. Because you got one group over here, he got something and he ran with it and he did it and it didn't work out. You got another group over here doing something similar to it, but it didn't work out either. You got another group over here and they make little hits, snipes here and there. We're going to be a standing army. Amen. We're going to do things legally and peacefully, but we're a standing army, folks. Because we're training. You don't send soldiers to battle without training.
And with integrity.
That's right. And we're going to demand integrity. We're going to demand honesty. We're going to demand that you do things the proper way. That you're going to keep your word and you're going to do the right thing, or you're not going to be certified. And that's as simple as we can make it. Yes, John?
Are you concerned about this? I talked to Tom and he seemed like he shared the concern that I had about people bypassing the Republic and doing this process and possibly hurting the Republic and the process.
They can't do anything with the Republic.
By recording it in the county?
They can't. The counties are not going to record it.
That's right.
Period. They won't.
Nope. Nope. It's not necessary for them to record it. So we've got the answer to that too.
Okay. If I might say something about that, they may try to do that, and they may get a few filings in there, but what are they doing regarding their jurisdiction?
Yep. Right.
What jurisdictional arena are they still playing in?
They're still playing in their ballpark.
Still playing in the de facto. They're still playing in the fiction.
That's right. See,
the Republic is the only non-fiction remedy or resolution that they have. And they can't bypass it and make it work the same way.
Okay, let me show you what they will be doing. We're not going to do it that way. But I'm going to show you how ours is going to work and how theirs works. Okay, what happens in the de facto world, okay, you make an agreement with the guy to buy the property over here. Okay, you get an agent involved. They go down there and they pull the records from the county. So they change the deed, say change the information. Okay? So they go down to the county, they pull the records, they bring it to the table, they do the closing, and then they take it right back down to the county. Just making a loop. That's all it does. Just making a loop every time. And they sit there laughing at us because we're paying our money to just re-record their property.
They'll tell you, we got to record this at the county.
That's exactly what they'll tell you. Well, it's not going to work that way. We're going to circumvent. What happens is we're going to go make the agreement, and we're going to take the deed out of the county, and we're going to put it over here in the Republic.
I just want to see it.
And then
put at his house.
okay, there's Edna's house. Edna's house is about to be in the Republic. But here's where it gets good. Okay, this is where we mess them up. We send them a notice. We don't send them the documents. We send the county a notice. And that, you know what that notice says? It's been removed. It's called a notice of removal.
Take it from your tax roll.
Remove this property from your tax roll. It has been removed from your records. Okay, now they don't have a filing anymore on that because it's been changed. Who are they going to send the tax bill to? Yes, Lorian?
False flag, because it seems to be the modus operandi. And so the first question that pops into my mind is, what kind of archiving, I mean, how do you protect yourself against who knows what way they'll...
Okay, we've got 4 sources of backup. The homeowner has the originals. We have 3 scanned copies in private locations. And we have, well, 3 scanned copies. One of them is open to the public to view, the other 2 are not. They're completely isolated from public view or the internet. They're never on the internet. Those servers don't go on the internet. So we have 4 sources of backup for your records. Okay, we've already got that in place. Okay, the thing is all right, now the county is getting a notice that this property description, blah, 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 has been removed from your records. We're not going to tell them who owns it.
Oh, okay, that helps.
So where are they going to send the notice?
To the house.
They can send it to the house if they want to, but tell the house to pay it. Now we got the answer for that too. We'll show you that too as well. The point is all the other people, unless they're certified in this process, just like you're doing today, cannot put their records here. And that's the key to what we're doing, is we're breaking the chain.
That's right.
And taking it out of the county, because we've been doing it all wrong. We've been taking it from the county and putting it right back in the county, right back under their authority.
So that's, we don't care if the county files it or not.
We don't care. There's this little thing in the law that says if anything is sent by registered mail, it is the same as being filed if it's sent to an agency or an office, a government office. It's the same as being filed if it's sent registered mail. Isn't that kind of cool? So we don't care if they file it or not. We can prove in a court of law that it's been filed.
And the standing of our Records Bureau comes from what?
From the Constitution.
Hello.
And that we are recognized as
a republic. And we're completely foreign jurisdiction to their system. So who are they going to send the tax bill to? All they have is the original, the owner that was on there before you changed it. Because see, that guy, in almost every single case, you're going to find out who is it that's on that deed.
straw man.
The straw man. We're going to sell it to the real man. The straw man is going to convey the title to the real man, upper lowercase name.
And that's what straw man's done.
Yeah. You think that might make a difference?
That's what I'm talking about.
And you say straw man with the all uppercase?
Yes.
In Minnesota, at least on 5 of my properties, they're all upper lowercase.
That can be. That's okay.
Is that considered the real man or the straw man?
No, they don't know.
Should be considered the real man, but I don't know in your law exactly. But I don't think it's going to matter. It's not. Once you record it in the Republic, it's no issue to them.
And I don't know if she's got coupons or something, I would guarantee it's all uppercase.
Yeah, yeah.
And her tax notice from the year is all uppercase.
I bet it is too. The tax notice probably is uppercase.
And when you get the tax records from the bank every year saying you paid so much interest, it's all uppercase.
Yeah, well, they're playing the game, and they do know the rules of the game. Yes.
Will there be a limit to how many properties you can instill through the Republic?
Nope. Yeah, there is a limit. There is a limit. How many properties are there between the
Around the globe.
How many properties are there between the Atlantic and the Pacific and Canada and Mexico? That's the limit. So that's the limit. Yes, sir.
Is this process set up and ready to go today, and has it been tested and recognized?
It has been tested and recognized in a court of law, yes.
In whose court of law?
In the U.S. federal district courts.
So do you mean that if I were to do this today and I got my tax bill, I could ignore it?
No, you don't ignore it. We'll show you what to do about that. We have the answer to that too. Yeah.
If you do that, does that compromise your fire and police protection if you take it off the tax roll?
No, well, it can. So what you do is you go and contract with them directly. If you'll look on your tax bill, your school taxes, fire tax, and police taxes are different. Usually they're separate. And if it's not on your bill that way, it is in their office. It's all broken down because each one of them gets a share. They get a percentage or get so much of it. Okay. So they have a schedule that shows how much each one gets. You can go pay that part without paying the property tax.
I see. Thank you.
What's the possibility, since that system is part of the de facto, what's the possibility of it refusing your money based on orders from that?
I have never seen any of them refuse anybody's money yet.
And if that's the case, then we'll have to probably look at creating our own part.
Well, we might do that too, yes.
One more question. How does it affect your mortgage?
It has no effect on your mortgage. If you quit paying your mortgage, they just foreclose. But when you patent your land, they can't take the land.
Okay, so all they can do is just complain.
They can complain. They can put a lien on it, but who cares? They can put a lien on it. They can renew it every 10 years or whatever it is, and till you're dead and gone, and your sons and your grandsons are dead and gone, and the bank's closed up.
Would supersede their lien?
I'm sorry?
I could put a lien that would supersede their lien?
It can be done, yes.
Would the Republic recognize a lien that the de facto bank put on the property?
Nope.
So what do we care?
No, we don't care because they can't. My question is where are they going to send the lien to record it?
Yeah, that's not on the tax roll.
They could just send the police to take you out of your house.
No.
Well, they can, and then they can go to jail too. Yes. Yes, sir.
What if there's taxes owed on it previously too?
Okay, oh, that's a beautiful thing. I'm glad you asked that question. Once the owner shows up, they have to go back 3 years and give you that tax money. Okay, if you just got to go request it, that's what the law says they have to do. Then after 3 years, you've abandoned it, and they won't give you back after 3 years. But they are bound by that. So what I suspect that you would probably be able to do is probably make a deal with them and tell them, y'all just cancel the taxes that are owed, and I won't come down here and collect any more from you.
I won't collect any more from you.
And they'll probably be happy to go away because they owe you money. You don't owe them money. Once you become the owner, they owe you 3 years of back taxes.
Question regarding that now. Hypothetically speaking, if you bought the property, say, a year ago, whoever paid taxes prior to that, 2 years before that.
Right.
So you paid 1 year, and there's 2 years before that.
Right.
Do you collect that also, or?
No, sir. Only in your name.
Okay.
Only what you've paid. And now that's what the law says. Now, getting them to pay you the back 3 years might be a challenge. You probably have to take it to court. You'd probably win it though, but I'm not sure it's worth it. We're not trying to hurt the counties. We're trying to just keep them from hurting us. Sometimes you got to make peace, make deals. once you get in the driver's seat, you'll probably find out that they were willing to work with you on a lot of things that they haven't been in the past, because you're up here just, you're a noise. That's all you are. You're not an owner. You're a tenant out there making noise. That's all you're doing.
One thing I don't think we really calculate is the fact of what that would do to your budget, just not to have to pay them anymore.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
For a relief of stress, because debt is imprisonment. We
Absolutely.
Get rid of it and begin to live in the republic. We don't want to take revenge. And the time you spend doing that, we could build a republic and have 1,000 jobs.
That's hundreds of thousands of jobs. Yes, sir.
One of the questions I was asked when I was presenting this preliminary to somebody, how would this affect other agencies that typically affect land, like in Wisconsin we have the Department of Natural Resources, other situations like that. How does that affect?
Well, I'll show you some law on that. Once you actually patent your land, you have total ownership and control of it. Building codes no longer affect you. Ordinances no longer affect you, and that's been held up in court.
Easements no longer affect you.
And right of eminent domain no longer affects you, because the federal government is very clear that they gave up all rights and title to that property when they granted it to the grantor, and he has exclusive right and ownership and control of it.
And states have no right.
And it says and I've got the court cases. I'm going to give you all a bunch of court cases. You need to go read them, and then you'll understand.
Right.
It says very clearly that no court can do a collateral attack against the land patent lest they embarrass the process and the federal government, because it was granted from the president of the federal government to an individual. The U.S. District Court's job is to uphold that patent. They're bound by law to uphold it because the president signed that thing. It's a contract. How are they going to go against their own contract? You got them between a rock and a hard place.
Is there a possibility of the de facto putting in some type of Gestapo, where, for instance, when we were sending BPNs to the IRS, they were just storing them in a back room?
Yeah, sure, they can do a lot of things, but it's not going to matter.
There would be an out with a court.
Well, when we do our Article 3 courts, we'll take them to that. Okay. And let's see how that works out for them.
Two questions. One is, when I ordered my land patent, she said there was a state land patent.
Mm-hmm. Now you want the BLM federal land patent.
Right, and that's who I talked to, but she said it's in the state. So, I guess I'll have to wait to see what it says when it comes.
Unless you've got an office in your state.
No, I'm getting it from her, but that's just how she worded it.
I don't know about that. We'll have to look at it.
Okay, and then the second question I have is, how does that work with rental properties as far as land patents?
Doesn't have any effect on that. It's your property.
So I can tell them to just take a hike.
You can if you want to. But be good to your people. Okay, well, in your case, you might want to. Ross?
What about if one of my best tenants is a Section 8 tenant?
They tell them to join the Republic, they'll feel right at home.
But the rent check comes from Section 8.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
disability? From disability?
No, that's low-income housing.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you meant Section 8 in the law enforcement community is crazy. You know that, right? That means crazy.
What am I going to have to do about that tenant? Anything? Because will federal pay that rent?
It doesn't affect it. It won't affect it. If they're still in your home, it's not going to have any effect on it.
Except that Section 8 comes in and inspects it every year to make
That
sure.
doesn't. You do have to just allow them to inspect it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do that.
But they don't check the tax.
Yes, ma'am.
Just want some clarification. I sold a piece of property which was being developed, and it's in the preliminary plat stage.
Mm-hmm.
However, the township is saying if he finalizes that plat, that they're going to bring a road through there, which would devalue the property because they want to bring all the traffic through there. If he has a low-deal title, they can't force him to do that, correct?
If he has low-deal title, they cannot know. If he gets a patent, they can't put a road anywhere because they have given up their right of eminent domain when you got the grant. when the grant was officially issued originally, whoever brought the, see the problem is we have not brought the grants forward. The land grants have not, the patents we call them, is just the act of bringing that down into your name. I'll tell you how powerful it is, okay? Once you establish this land patent, you know when they do a title search, they don't go past your name anymore. They don't go any further than that land patent. That's as far as they go in a title search. That's in the law. I can show it to you. So that's powerful stuff, folks. Anisha?
Okay, we've got a couple of questions here, Minnesota. I got an email from someone who wanted me to bring this to you. Her land is, she discovered her parcel was actually part of a school grant. So would that actually would be federal, wouldn't it? Because originally when they were doing the surveys in the Northwest Territories, they were allowing so much land like for schools, correct?
Yes.
So that actually might be in the BLM, right?
Maybe.
But if it isn't, where should she?
There were private land holdings, and I don't know that I can answer the question without more information. There were private land holdings as well, especially in the Midwest, the lower part of the Midwest. The Hidalgo Treaty came into play, and that changed a lot of the rules. So it was private land grants from some of them from other countries like Mexico, and some international during some of the deals and treaties that we made.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
This is in Minnesota though.
Yeah.
And her parcel goes back to the original, is part of a larger school.
It doesn't matter. It was originally granted to somebody.
So, but here's the other thing. Then we have railroad land.
Yeah.
That eventually gets sold off to become someone's farm.
Yeah. The railroad land is a little different. And we're going to have to do some research on railroad land, because I do know this, that when the railroad land was granted, the railroads were given land for 15 miles on each side of the road bed. That was the agreement we made. On 15 miles on each side of the road bed, yes. Yes, sir.
When you do go to the BLM, of course, my farm is a smaller section of that. I ordered the whole thing. How do we break that out?
You just put your property, the only thing that, okay, when you get the patent, your patent will likely be 160 acres. Okay, the patent was originally issued in 160 acre tracts. It's traditional. Not every one of them are that way, but that's traditional. Okay, it will be probably much larger than your piece of property that you have today. Most people's are. Okay. Yep, just one second. When you patent your land, you'll see on the documents, I'll show you that tomorrow. We're going to go through them step by step. You'll see where it says, we are only patenting the property that is described herein. You don't receive the whole patent. The only part that you have is what you were deeded. Your portion of that patent. Now it's up to everybody else on that plot to patent their own land. And I would go out there and take it to them and tell them they probably should think about that.
Just two things. One thing to answer what Don was talking about,
yes,
about the state, the land patent you were looking at the state. We had somebody in Wisconsin that thought that they could take the one from the state, and I looked at it, and it's not the original land patent. Someone just transcribed the verbiage, piece of paper, and that's it. There's no president's signature or anything.
You got to go get the original from BLM with a number on it, control number.
Number two, just
serial number.
Urban Power land patent. I have a friend in the same county that I'm in about 10, 15 years ago. He had his land patented, and he went to get a loan. The bank did their search or whatever. They came back and said, we're not going to give you a loan.
They can't.
The patent.
That's right. That's correct. So you won't get a loan on a patented piece of land. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ignore you there. You got to throw something at me. It has no effect on condos at all. If you've got a land description, if you patent it, that's all you own is what that land description is.
In the original 13 colonies, I know you mentioned this a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
These are land grants, these are not land grants.
All of them were land grants originally. Okay. there are some differences in the 13 colonies because there are some private grants that were different than, and I'm not sure, we're still researching that. Tom and I were talking about this yesterday. We believe that some of the grants were probably even made from kings, barons, and lords. And the national government never had any, in some of the treaties or agreements they let them keep those lands. And I don't know all the details, but we're still researching that. But if that's the case, then that means the government never had any control over those lands. Brother Warren, I'm trying to get everybody in order.
Whenever you have a piece of property that joins a river, creek,
Yes.
waterway of some kind, and the Corps of Engineers holds, a property line so far from water and so forth, is that still?
It depends on what your deed says. If your deed says you own to the middle of the creek on a land patent, you own to the middle of the creek.
And a question that goes along with that.
Yes.
This is a void question. So that means if you wanted to set up a hydroelectric plant of your own, you could do that?
Absolutely. If it's your land, you can, yes. Yes, ma'am.
What would you do if you have allodial title and you decide you want to sell the property?
You do the same thing you do with a deed. You just transfer it down to as in a deed. It's up to the person that receives it whether they want to bring the patent forward, because it stops with you unless they bring it forward. Okay, they have to voluntarily do it.
My question.
Yes, sir.
If you have a tax lien on your property, do you have to deal with that first?
If you have a tax lien on your property, I would pretty much just ignore it, because once you put the land patent on it, the federal government can't touch it.
Now, where,
And the IRS can't touch it on their behalf, because if they bring an action, who are they going to bring it in the name of? The United States. Well, kind of going to be hard for them to deal with that in court when I'm going to bring a land patent signed by the President of the United States, and they're going to bring a claim with some inferior little debt collecting organization over here. I don't think that a judge is going to override the consent of a standing president to collect a little debt for this debt collector over here. I hardly believe that's going to happen.
so where do we get the full land description? I'm having a lot of difficulty with this from time to time.
You're down at your land office in your county, whoever.
Here's the
Listed
thing,
on your warranty deed.
pardon me?
It's listed on your warranty deed.
Should be.
See, we're having some trouble here because, the block and plan number, that's just a filing thing.
Yeah, that's not.
The legal description.
You need the legal description.
Created.
Go down to your tax collector or tax assessor and just tell them you want the legal description.
The tax assessor.
The assessor or the collector. I don't know which one will do it in your county, but you need one of the two. You would have it.
You can get that online in some states.
We get them all the time down here at the courthouse. Yeah, well, most of them okay, listen up, guys. Listen up, guys. Y'all be nice. We're on video, remember. Okay? So y'all be nice. Don't act up. Okay? A lot of times when you get a tax bill, you will see a parcel number, not necessarily a legal description. It'll have the lot, it might have the lot and block number and a parcel number, but it won't have the section, township, and range description and all legal description. You need the legal description to do the land patent. Yeah, you need the full legal description. Okay. Or more in some cases. It tells you where Uncle John traded it for a horse and a 30-30 or a rifle and a shotgun and a dog or all that kind of stuff. And some of those crazy legals.
Like if you're in a townhome association, but you still have a piece of that property, like even Greenland, and it's shared.
It doesn't matter. When you buy a land or a property, it has a legal description. It has to. Okay, so that legal description, it doesn't matter if Jack sold you that piece of floor right there and it has a legal description, you could patent it. You could bring the patent together. Now, he might not let you step off of that little square right there to go across his part, but you would own that and they couldn't move you off of that. And that's the way the patent works. Yes?
Would that be the same in the mobile home park?
Yes. Doesn't matter. Land is land.
You have to own the pad.
What happens to all the assessments, road and sewer and water?
They're still there, aren't they? I don't think they're going to dig them up.
Right.
I wouldn't give them permission to. So they'd have to have your permission to dig up your sewer pipes and stuff, because that's on your land now. And it's going to be kind of interesting, because some of these old land patents that people have subdivided, and if you have anybody or a friend or a relative or past relative that a county or a city or somebody, they took their property by taxes, for taxes, go update the patent on it.
Now, what about townhouses and condominiums? Could you explain something about that? Because condominiums, people don't really own the land, they own the inside of their...
That I don't know if it's that way, but somebody owns land.
But what about the townhome? I mean, they actually own a little plot.
There's a legal description. And if you've got a condo and the person that has bought that has not brought the patent forward, you can bring the patent forward for the whole place, I guess. I think they would probably be very nice to you after
Yeah, they're
that.
going to treat you real kindly.
You could get the patent for the whole...
If it's within the parameters of your property description, I would think you could bring it forward. Now, you can only own the portion that you own, but if you bring that patent forward, you probably need to go talk to your association or whoever. The contractor. Yeah, you might want to do that. But if they didn't bring, they can't prevent you from bringing yours forward. Okay? And tell them, well, you can give me a legal description for or I'm going to just bring it all forward because I don't have one. And I think they'll make you one, probably.
We have enough cases already. Would there be any precedents where somebody did bring this forward, where a municipality would refuse water service, sewer service?
I read a case, something like that, but I don't recall the name of it. I'm sure there's precedent. I'm going to give you a bunch of cases. You can read them and see. I've not had time to read all of them, but I got like 350 of them, I think, or so. There's a bunch of them, and it covers all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Like if you're dealing with a condo, and it says 15 condos and it's on this plot of land, it might be wise, and I'm thinking it's really wise to get them together, because if you get your little 1/15th of a patent and you off the tax roll, they're still going to send the association the tax for that whole thing. So what happens is the other 14
You can take the whole thing out of it.
yeah, I'm just saying, if they don't agree, then the other 14 can pay your taxes.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So they
Yes.
should be willing to listen.
Yes, sir.
In case we don't have a proper description, can you get your own survey and file that?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Yes. That's what you want, is the meets and bounds. That is your property description. And yeah, you can get a that's a good point. A surveyor can probably get you a description. That's what they do. So that might be something, even in an association, you might can do that. Something to think about. Okay. Get back on task here. Till y'all let me go. What time is it? 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock, do you want to take a break?
Y'all want a break? Okay, I got a little more I'd like to cover before we quit today. Come on. Okay. Here's my, get this. Something, that's not the one I'm looking for here. Cruiser.
You just ejected it. It's not mounted anymore.
No, it's F. F is the one I want. That's what I was trying to figure out which one, which drive I'm on there. I confused myself. Kingston F, that's the one I want. Okay, The first thing we're going to talk about the process. We're going to go through it step by step tomorrow, but I want to give you an overview tonight so you'll understand where we go. It's a very simple process. There's 10 steps to this process. Okay? Find the checklist. Okay. Now, one of the first things we do is we have to get you're not going to do this part. You're going to give this request for a certified copy of land patent to the owner. And you say, you go, and we've got the addresses and all the information, contact information for BLM. One of the first things you do is you give him a checklist and this right here. Fill it out, send it to BLM, get your land patent. You can even call them on the telephone, give them your section, township, and range, and all that's on this. It asks for all the information right here. Now, where do you get the section, township, and range from?
Tax assessment.
It's all right here. Legal description. Section, township, range, basin, meridian, in state and county. That's the information they've got to have to get you a land patent, or to check and see if they've got a land patent.
When I filled mine out the other day, I took my warranty deed and it had all the details on it except for
Meridian.
base meridian.
Yeah.
And
you have to call your tax assessor or tax collector.
down there, they didn't know.
Okay.
So I just simply went online and I typed in Russell County, Alabama, section such and such township, range, and typed it in, and it brought it up, and then it said, it had on there Meridian, St. Stephen.
St. Stephen's, yeah. Some of this area is in St. Stephen's as well. But mine, particular one's in Skipperville. That's easy for me to remember. That's the name of the town. Yes, Rockets?
Could de facto interfere with our access to the certified original patents?
Yes, they can, and that's a concern that we have. But if they do, we will take them to court, because that is public record, and it's a five years in prison for a clerk that refuses to give you access to what's the word they use, that conceals public record.
From the government land office, the site online, you can either, there's just a couple of different ways of actually accessing the certified copy. One way is you got the abstract, you have the original person's name to whom the original grantee.
Yes, if you have that, that's great.
If you have it, you put that in and you get the...
Yeah. You can also take on the BLM site, if yours is recorded, not all of them are on there, but if yours is one that's on there, you can take the section, township, and range, and base meridian, and state and county, and go in there, fill out their little form, and they will do an electronic search to see if you have a land patent. Okay? If you do, if it's in their records, in their files that they have archived, it'll pop up and you can look at it and then order a copy of it. Okay? Now, some are in there, some are not. And I can't tell you whether yours is or not until they have to do a search for you. Yes?
What's the need for the base meridian? Because I've never used that.
Well, that's just something they ask for. I don't know what the base meridian represents, honestly.
I have to do some research on it.
Yes.
Basically, surveyors use a base meridian and a prime. So the surveyors, you can find it for each state.
So as long as you get it without, that's fine. I've got mine without using base meridian.
Yeah, well, we used to do that all the time. I never used base meridian, but they have started asking for it. Yes.
Sometimes they refer to a benchmark too. Where they start. And I did surveying, and they start with a benchmark.
Yeah.
Then they go from the benchmark to the point of beginning, describe the property, and they have a point of ending, and they're supposed to do a closure.
Yeah, the benchmark is generally like a brass seal in the ground or something. Is that?
It's a plug that goes in the ground.
Right, it goes in the ground. I've seen them.
Mine's a rock.
Yeah, rock.
It really was. It was a rock in the middle of it. It was the corner of the township.
Yeah, that's an ancient landmark. That's what. Yes, ma'am.
Showed it to me.
We also noticed too that when we did the BLM searches, they're all organized by like a compass reading, like north half of southwest quarter, because those delineated individual individual patents.
Yes.
If you don't have that, you might not know which patent is yours. That's the problem. Like, you've got to get that compass reading to identify your patent.
Yeah, well, they can do it. You call the BLM, they know how to do it. They'll tell you what they need.
It says it on your legal description.
Now get,
While we were
excuse me.
just here a few minutes ago, I looked it up and I just matched it up with my.
You do get it from the survey, that's for sure.
Yeah,
You do
from
get
your
that.
legal description, it says the northeast corner, the southwest corner.
But you're gonna, what I'm saying is you're gonna need more than the section township range, meridian. You do
Well,
need
right
that-
above that is the legal description.
Yeah, but you do need that north half of the.
That is the legal description.
Yes. What's real helpful is if you get a plat book of your county, each section is divided up into quarters. You realize that, you look at the section, it makes it very easy to understand your legal description.
Yeah, that's good. Let's get back on task here. Now, this little form, you fill it out, send. Now, it's very expensive to get a land patent, a certified copy of a land patent. We got 3 copies the other day. I think it was $4 or $5.
You can get 5 for $5.
5 for $5. Okay, I knew they were very expensive. So, and they'd send them out on parchment. I mean, they really do a nice job. You need to get these. Yeah, what I recommend is get at least 4 copies. And you do need to get them. You need to now. You're not going to be going out and getting land patents, certified copies of land patents for your land, for other people's land. You can get it for your land and do your own. But when they come to you, you make them bring the deed, certified copy of the deed, and certified copy of the land patent with them. They need to, the owner is to provide that for you. You're not just supposed to run around and do all their work. Okay? You got to understand, this process is going to get very busy. Be careful because there's one thing about people that I promise. You'll find out that they will let you do what you will do. So set the rules clearly. And what I tell everybody, you bring your certified copy of your deed, your certified copy of your land patent, and the funds, and they'll take care of it. Okay? And that's what I tell people to do. Don't, be careful. Brother Gene can tell you how you can get overwhelmed by helping people. How many do you have? 300,000 or so requests? Over 300,000 requests for the process. You guys are going to get covered up. That was at one time. Yeah, one. And this is the kind of stuff we're dealing with. People are desperate. They need help. We have 8 million foreclosures a month going on. Y'all going to be busy. Because when people find out and they catch on to what we have discovered here, and find out that all you got to do is do this little process, and the bank can foreclose, but they can't take the land without causing. If they do, then they're going to go into a lawsuit, and you're going to get treble damages and the land back.
President Turner, for us to do this process with someone, do they have to first be a member of the Republic?
Yes.
We signed them up for the Republic.
That is the big thing.
I want that clear.
They must be a member of the Republic for you to do this. We're trying to build the Republic, but we're also trying to protect the people we're helping. If they are still U.S. citizens, they're going to get beat up because they have no defense. Yes, ma'am.
That brings up something as being the one who does all the records for Minnesota. Occasionally we'll have someone requesting their paperwork back.
Mm-hmm.
So, what if someone does that? What
If they want their paperwork back, then give it back to them.
She needs after they get it.
Well,
afterwards. I have been doing that. Once I have them.
well, there's nothing we can do about that. People can do that, but
We should probably call.
they're on their own. Just tell them they're on their own if they do that, though, because we can't go in and help them if they get in a jam. Our law team won't help them.
So we should call, as people doing this, call our records keeper for our state and verify that they're on the record in good standing.
Yes. I think you should, yes.
Friends who recently had their house taken back by the bank, would they be able to use this process to get their house back? It's already been foreclosed on. And,
yes. Did they have a lawful deed to it?
I presume they had a deed.
It depends on if they had a trust deed or a warranty deed. If they did a trust deed to the bank can sell it because they conveyed it to them. If they had a warranty deed in their name and just a lien against it, which is what a lot of banks do, then they can do it. Now, a trust deed is a problem. A trust deed means you have conveyed it to the bank, basically, or the principals of the bank.
They can get their house back.
Yeah, a trust deed, but you can attack a trust deed, but you're going to have to go through the process to attack the trust deed and correct it because it's unlawful anyway. It's an unlawful thing. And if they want to argue with it, then you just go to the title company and make a claim and get your total amount of the property back and then take them to court and beat them.
Is there going to be anything with the records bureau that we have that will check to see if they're members? I mean,
Yes, we have the ability to do that. Yes. Yes.
Will the records department remain the repository of those records if those people ask for the Republic paperwork back?
That I don't know. We'll have to work on that because we haven't discussed that. If they, in my opinion, I think that they should be pulled from the record and sent back to them. Or at least pulled from record because they're going to have the originals already. We just might pull them off the record. Because we can't have people doing that just to get their land recorded. So there needs to be some kind of way to enforce that. So you can tell them if they request the records back from the Republic, then their land patent will be removed from the record too. Okay. Now that's the first thing you do. Okay. Now once you get the deed and the certified copy of the land patent in your possession, you can start the process. Let me see if I can find my checklist.
Yeah, let's check.
What's going on with the darn disk? I mean, some stuff missing here. Ah, boy. No, I'll put that on there. Come on. That's not it.
Down about 3 more.
It was down about 3 more.
I missed it somehow.
Yeah, it was down about 3 more.
Looking for my checklist is what I'm looking for. It was supposed to be on that disc. It was this morning, but I can't seem to find it.
What was it called?
It was called the,
Go to the search window, type in the first 3 letters.
hang on.
It may have fallen out of the flash drive when the flash drive fell under the crack of the sofa.
10,000 comedians in this country out of work, you trying to be funny. Okay.
There it is, Tim.
Miss.
Checklist?
Yeah, there we go. Can't see it for looking for it. Okay. We're going to go through these documents step by step, but this is a very straightforward, simple process. Where's the rest of it? You must be still thinking. I've got 10 steps.
This is the Reader's Digest version.
Boy, I'm telling you, why in the heck? I had 10 steps on it. I don't know what's going on. I'm having gremlins again.
You got two different checklists there.
I must have saved one somewhere else. Let me get this straight, guys. Let's see if it's in that documents here. I bet this is it. No? I'll be dang. I don't know. I don't know. See if you can find. I had 10 steps on there last night. Tell me what happened to it.
What's it called, land patent checklist?
It's a land patent preparer's checklist.
Preparer's checklist?
Preparer's checklist.
Preparers or processors?
Processor's checklist, yeah. Processor's checklist, yeah. I think, I don't know. I hadn't had enough sleep in the last few days.
We understand.
Oh, boy. Yeah, some of y'all do. Oh, goodness.
I don't see how you handle all the calls you're on. It's just,
I don't either. I don't know how to do it either sometimes.
everybody wants to run his turn and he tries to.
I don't know what's happened to it. I had 10, I know I saved them last night because I looked at it. I started to print it off.
Let me close this one real quick.
I've had more computer gremlins with that computer. I've sworn and threw it away. I
That's the new one.
hope so, because boy, this thing has ate my lunch.
Energy of what we're doing, because I've been working on writing legislation, and suddenly poof, it's just, I think it's the energy of what we're doing, it's so cutting edge.
I don't know what it is, but this thing has done some crazy stuff.
Oh, it's probably not on the drive that you've got out here. Hold on.
It's supposed to be on that drive and on my doc. I backed it up on my documents too, and I got half of it. I don't know what happened. Because I know I saved it because I checked it. I had it on there last night.
One right there?
Someone got,
That's the same one, it's 12/28, the same day, unless you created it.
well, that's what I've tried both places, and they're the same. But I know I saved it because I checked it. I reopened it and checked.
Yeah, it's only coming up with the one.
I don't know.
Pull
Anyway,
this drive out. Was it on this one?
it was. No, it was on this one.
Okay.
It was on this. But anyway,
Well, we looked on
I'll
both,
figure it
yeah.
out. I'll figure it out tonight. I apologize.
How we can do 5 steps.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I'll take what I can get to them.
Try one thing. Let's look on that flash drive.
Let's
open it up.
Yeah, it's
Okay. Look in that folder, certification class.
okay. I don't know what happened to it. Only half of it's there. That folder's empty.
Nothing there. Okay.
Hang on, just.
I transferred a couple of files into that because I was going to build a folder to transfer to another drive, flash drive, and I moved them back out. I just want to.
That's 5 steps.
It's a processor's check.
That's it? I just opened that, and it only had 5 steps. What happened? Because that's the first one I opened.
It corrected itself.
It knew I was getting ready to start tossing.
Pull its little ears and say, that's right.
That's what I'm telling you.
It's like some of us, it's a little slow to open.
I guess it wasn't through loading or something. I don't know what. Maybe computers have those senior moments too. I don't know. Anyway, the gremlins are after me again. I was teaching in Knoxville, Tennessee. I was sitting there teaching, and all of a sudden my screen started doing like rolling. They were uplinking all my files from the hotel I was in. It was a CIA operation. It was uplinking my files.
Oh, really? Just like the movies?
Yeah, we traced it back to a building in Washington that was, they downloaded it, sent it to it. I had a hacker went in there and traced it where they sent them to. But I had a CIA guy in the hotel where I was at, was uplinking my files and sending them to...
Did you kill the Wi-Fi?
No.
As soon as you kill the Wi-Fi, they can no longer.
Well,
They have to be able to connect to it somehow. So just on your laptop next time,
I just shut it off. I turned it off is what I did.
that'll work too.
Yeah, but anyway, it was just sitting there rolling. So, do what now?
Did he get a land patent?
On his house.
No, he didn't. He didn't get much of anything. Yeah, I caught him, and let's just say he got an attitude adjustment. Okay, step 1. You must receive verification form and control number from the main office. It will include the owner's information and contact numbers. We have a main hub set up for the client to call, or to the owner to call, and then they will send the information down you, and they will send you this little slip that will have a control number on it. And it will have the information for you to contact and set up an appointment with the owner. That's how this operates. We've got to keep this process within our trained people. It's one of the control methods we've got. Because we can't just let Joe Patriot go out there and just destroy this process. And he will. They will absolutely destroy it. I know from experience. I've been doing this a long time, and I can tell you that they will destroy it. So, when they receive the call, we're going to have just a nationwide number they can call. And then you will be certified and on their record, and the one that's closest to that area, they will send them to you. Now, if you've got people that come to you and want you to do it, just tell them to ask for you, and they will direct the cases to you. But that way, everybody, there's 2 sets of control numbers. One from you, which will be on your certificate when you get it, and then one from the main office will be another control number. And without those 2 control numbers, the Records Bureau will not record that document. It will be sent right back. And there's only 2 people that know those numbers, and you're one of them, and the main office is one of them. Okay? So you take care of that number. Don't let anybody have your number. Y'all following me now? Okay. It's really important we do that. We want to come together unified as an army of thousands of people doing the same thing. That's going to scare the bejesus out of these folks, because they've never seen us unite before.
How many of us are there? Is this the first class getting control numbers? Is this the first group of people?
Yes. You're the first class of that will be trained and certified, yes.
So we'll be the first 50 people who can do it in the country?
Yes. You will be the first ones. You will be the only ones until I do a class next week.
Could you go on vacation for a few?
But don't worry. There's so much demand for this already.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, oh my goodness. You're going to be covered up. I'm telling you. Yes, sir.
How many do you have any kind of, are you going to have like protected territories? And so
we may get into that if we need to, but we need about 10,000 people nationwide to do this, and so we all are the first 50, so you guys are going to get ready. Because I'm telling you, when this gets out, I'll tell you how popular this is going to be. I got a lady that works with me in this. I've been talking to her about it for several months. Here about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were just still in the development of everything, and about 3 weeks ago. And she went and talked to a little group of 40 people and just mentioned it to them. The next day she got 14 requests to do it. They already got their land, since that time, they've brought their deeds and their land patent to her house. She's got 14 waiting. That's the kind of response you're going to get. People across the country. They're going to just beat your door down to get this done because it's so powerful.
Are you going to give a price structure that's a standard price structure?
$580 is the total process.
Pardon me?
$580 does everything.
But who gets that $580?
Well, it's broken down, and I'll show you tomorrow how it breaks down.
All right.
The preparer gets $250. The main office gets $100 for transferring everything around and taking care of the payments. $150 goes to the Records Bureau to do the recording, the mailing, and the notice to the county. And the Secretary of State gets $80 for the apostille and the recording of that.
Well, how much does the individual that does the work get?
$250.
All right.
This whole process, if you'll get set up properly, you can do the whole process 2 hours and drink a cup of coffee at the same time, probably. And I mean, just relax and enjoy it. Honestly, I believe you can do it in an hour.
Just thank you for putting this together.
And we've automated it for you, so it's real easy to do. You guys are going to like the system.
So people pay pay the Bureau, and then the Bureau, once they've done the paperwork, they send it to the processor, they're $250?
No, you're going to deal directly with the public. The public is going to notify the main office, and the main office is going to send them to you. Okay? You're going to be the one dealing directly with the public, and then you're going to mail, when you get the documents together, we're going to show you exactly how to do it, how to put them in order, how to fill them out, how to make sure. It's your job to make sure they're filled out right, correctly, and it's put in order properly, and then they're sent to the Records Bureau. When the Records Bureau scans them and puts them online, they put the originals back in an envelope and mail them back to the owner.
But I mean the payment, where does that fit?
The payment goes to the main office. They send you your $250, and they send the rest to the Republic Records Bureau and Secretary of State, and everything is done. It's total is $580.
Just get the credit, you can open it up and put it in my account.
We'll take ours in silver.
I'm not even going there. Okay. Now, and that's the way we got it set up. So everything goes through the main office, and then it goes down to you. What they'll do, and like I say, you're going to have people approach you, and that's fine. That's okay. Send them to the office, give them the number, tell them call the office, and the office will send you the control number and their names and contact information so you can start their process. Because without that control number from the main office, you can't do it. You can't get them recorded. And so that's how we're controlling this, so people can't pirate this process, because they're going to try.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
If they're coming into the Republic, what will be the time lapse? Just getting the papers recorded?
All they got to do is just do the paperwork, and if they do the paperwork, you can take their process.
At the same time?
Yep, you can do it all. So they can do it all on the same day. If they're not a member of the Republic, get set up so you can bring them in, because we need to bring them in. Part of this is to build the Republic. Yes.
What is the total elapsed time for everything to get processed?
That's a good question.
Now it'll be one day, but in a month it's going to be something else.
Well, I asked them to make sure that we could do the whole process, including all the notices, in less than 2 weeks, and have stuff back to the people. I believe the first one's going in and going to be done in a week, but it's going to get back to it.
President Turner, I don't know if you want me to ask this tomorrow, but you said the payment will go to the Republic and the Republic will disperse the money out. Am I correct?
Yes. Well, no, the main office does. It doesn't go to the Republic. The main office sends a check for the filing fees to the Bureau of Republic Records, and then to the Secretary of State for their fees.
Now, is the client themselves come in? Do you have to have a credit card?
We'll have to set that up with Tom, however he wants to receive the payment. But I'm sure that he'll set up something to take credit cards,
So
yes.
we'll get more information on that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to put you in touch with Tom directly. So as a preparer, you're going to be communicating directly with him.
Okay.
Because he's going to be in the main office. Him and Sharon Anzaldi. You know Sharon Anzaldi?
No, what's
Okay, she's the governor of Illinois. She's going to be one of the people in this. Sharon's going to be one of the people too.
But we have to meet face to face with the people, because it's all be done by
Yeah, I don't think you'd have to, but I would.
People are going to be more comfortable.
I think you should give them an option, because if they got to travel 1,000 miles, they might just want to send their documents in. But you are going to have signatures, and that's going to create a problem. Okay, and they're going to have to be notarized. Okay. Now that brings up the next part we're going to talk about. Is we're going to make all of you notaries if you want to be. Okay. Okay.
How would that conflict if you are already a notary in the de facto?
Well, the notary in the Republic is completely different from the notary in de facto.
You can hold both.
I don't see why you couldn't. You just, for Republic business, you'd use the Republic notary seal.
Oh, okay, well then now it's a little different here, because originally when you did this 2 weeks ago or so, you were saying that you need a de facto notary in order.
Well, we may to start with, because we don't have any. Right. We may have to use a de facto notary to start with to get started until we get you guys in the process. But Wade's ready to go. We have the bond company agreement that is $35 a year for your bond for the notary. I don't know what the fee is. I'll tell you tomorrow. He's supposed to send it to me tonight, what the fee is to become a notary. And then I'll let you know that information. And we'll give you information on where to order your seals and everything.
Well, that makes sense, because we would need Republic notaries to do our filing.
Yes, absolutely.
Our jurisdiction.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what we're doing. We're creating notaries. Our Secretary of State can create notaries just like anybody else.
Are you saying that it's going to take 2 weeks to go from the person contacting you to the person getting the paperwork back saying you can stop paying your taxes and your mortgage?
Yeah.
Now?
That's what we estimate, about 2 weeks.
But don't you have to publish it for 30 days?
Well, you have to, but they're not going to argue with it. Now, who's going to come forward with a claim?
Just to clarify something, you're not going to get a statement coming back to you saying you can stop doing anything.
Yeah, they're not going to volunteer, folks.
What you're going to get is you're going to get...
Stupid letters.
You're going to get your original package, document package back with an apostille attached to it.
Yes.
So that makes your evidence valid in any court in the world.
That's what the apostille does. It allows you to take your documents into a foreign court. So now here we are. Okay, we've got all of your documents on record in the Republic. You get it back with an apostille and a copy of the notice that was sent to the county telling them to remove your notice of removal. Okay, you take it out of your records. It's not in your records anymore.
Define apostille.
An apostille is a certification that the notary that certified your documents is in good standing, and it also gives you the authority to take your documents into a foreign court.
Tim, in order to do paperwork for the Republic, doesn't it require three witnesses in which they're not supposed to be related, right?
You can do 3 common law witnesses, yes.
Are we going to have to work in teams then initially? Because how else are they going to be able to do the Republic?
Well, certainly you can do that.
If there's not 3 different people to witness.
Yeah, well, that's a problem you're going to have to work out. I don't know. That's why we need the notary. The notaries, every office needs a notary in it, because you're going to have to notarize these signatures of these people before, if they're not notarized or at least witnessed. We can go with 3 witnesses, 3 common law witnesses would be acceptable by our records bureau, but that's why we're trying to make the notaries, because it's a lot easier to have a notary working in your office helping you than it is to have 3 witnesses sitting around waiting to sign documents.
Be a notary yourself.
Oh yeah, become one yourself, right?
If you're a notary, then you need the 3 witnesses?
No.
Okay.
No,
How would they issue an apostille then if you didn't use a notary?
that's why we're doing the notaries.
So then three common law witnesses wouldn't work then to get the apostille?
Not for the apostille. You would have to have the notary. It's a good point. You'd have to have a notary to get the apostille, yes.
But right now, I mean, instead of getting 3, can you use like a de facto notary right now to do this work?
They can't apostille.
We couldn't apostille their notary. That wouldn't work for that. That's why I've got Wade setting things up to go ahead and do. What we've got set up for you is that he's going to set up a conference call. What you're going to have to do is send in a document to them verifying who you are with a copy of your ID, an affidavit basically. You can have a de facto notary certify that for you. I mean, that's okay. That's just an affidavit identifying you. That's okay. Okay. But when you send in documents from the other people to go up here to the Records Bureau, it needs to have one of our notaries stamp on it so that we can lawfully do the apostille. That's why we're trying to create the notary process. Now, so we do have a use for a de facto notary, but that's just to verify who you are before. See, if you do the affidavit and send us a copy of, say, your driver's license or whatever, a photo ID, stating who you are, and you have that notarized, even by a de facto notary, that's proof enough that you are who you say you are. Now, if you do that, the Secretary of State can send you back a number, an application number that only you have. Nobody else will have that number. Okay? When you go, he can do a conference call and swear everybody in at one time, nationwide, on a conference call in just a few minutes. Okay? But before he can do that, he's got to have that number to identify that you are really who you say you are, so he knows he's swearing in the right people. See what I'm saying? We got to control this right, properly keep the fraud out of it. Because you got some people that would do it and say that they're somebody and they're not.
Better get moving, you're only on step 2.
I know.
You've kind of covered 9 and 10, haven't you?
Almost. Okay. We're on step 4. Okay, the step 4 is to complete the delivery, acknowledgement, and acceptance of deed form, which we have already made up for you. Just fill in the blanks. Very simple form to do. That covers the 3 steps that are required to lawfully take possession. And then you take possession. Where are you at? Step 5. You complete the grantees, assignees, updated land patent form. Step 6, you complete the declaration of homestead form. 7, you complete the public notice of land patent form. 8, you complete the notice of removal from tax rolls. Step 9, you publish the notice of land patent in the local newspaper as required by the laws in your state for legal notice. You can get this info from your local clerk of court about how many days you have to publish it. It varies state by state a little bit. So you need to check on that and make sure you do it. Now, you can publish this by posting it as well. At the post office. The post office, that's why they call it a post office. Because people used to post things at the post office. And they do have a bulletin board. And I had a lady the other day call down there and said, no, we don't do that anymore. And she called back and talked to somebody else and they said, oh, we do that. She didn't even know it. They hadn't done it in years and she didn't know they did it anymore. But they have a bulletin board in every post office. They also have one in the courthouse.
Is the processor's obligation to do the postings or the individual?
No, that's the processor will have that done. That's all part of the processor is going to have that published.
If we wouldn't be doing the post office because then we'd have to go down to their county or wherever and put it in the post office.
Yeah.
So we'd have to contact the newspaper is what we're saying.
Well, now you're talking about the public newspaper. If you put it in the public newspaper, I think that we probably would you need the people to do that probably. Right. After you send, because see they need to have the documents after they're completed to do that. So I think that we need to let them do that.
In every newspaper, the legal documents, when you file a legal
it's just a notice is all you're going to publish.
Different prices for every case.
Well, all you got is a notice that you're going to publish. And it doesn't have to be in the main newspaper. It can be in the Auto Trader or something like that. I mean, it's just as long as the circulation in your area, in the area where the land is held, within the limit. Now, it's nice when you go to the newspaper, you can go down there and they will give you a notice that they published it for so many days. They will actually give you a notarized statement to that effect.
It can't go into the Auto Trader, it has to go into a system.
Auto Trader.
It has to go into one that's recognized by the clerk.
Oh, they do that now?
Yes.
They didn't used to.
Clerk tells you which one it has.
Yeah, well, they tell you that, but I bet if you check the law, you might find out it doesn't say what they say. I go by what the law says. I can stand on that. Now I know that, and I don't know, you're going to have to check the laws in your state. In Florida, you can just post it. You don't even have to advertise it. You just post it somewhere and the check and make sure that's valid in your state.
Verify that post office.
You go down there and ask them? Oh, you go look at the statutes on posting legal notices or talk to the clerk. The clerk can tell you if they will.
And since my land was going for foreclosure, I wanted to see what paper that they were going to run it in. And since it's so much fraud, they didn't run it anyway, but the certain papers put out bids on who's going to get it for that year.
Yeah, and they might do that in some states.
So I was able to find out who does the legal postings for the parish and county. So that's
the notice is just a page. I don't know how much it costs to post it. You'll have to find that out. But the customer needs to do that. The customer needs to do that.
How long do you foresee the time frame to get somebody actually into the Republic?
30 minutes.
30 minutes?
It's not. Let's just fill out a couple of forms is all it is.
But I would caution that if you're going to bring somebody to the Republic with this as the carrot, you need to, I'm not bringing anybody to the Republic in 30 minutes. I'm going to make them watch a couple hours of the video.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
I'm going to educate them because they're not just coming in for this and then they don't have a clue what they've done.
You got a point there.
Would it have to be scanned in the Bureau of Public Records in order to be official as far as them being a member of the Republic, or just that on that piece of
paper? Well, when they sign the documents, they're a member. Yes.
we should handle this in a way to where our records can verify that they indeed are members.
Yeah, in Missouri, we should be.
It should be a matter of record before we process a case.
Yes.
Can we set it up in our own states, or is it going to be a?
Yeah, it's already set up in most of the states.
Well, I as Secretary of State haven't heard.
We may,
Set up for that. I don't know.
we may need to get the Bureau of the Republic Records Bureau to have a system to where all of the DSRs from everyone all across the land, there's a copy on file with the general government, with the Bureau, so that we can verify these things.
Well, I tried to do that a year ago and the governor shut it down. They said they didn't want us to have their information.
President.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on the task force, Unity Task Force, and Jeff is too. We're trying to set up with the states one person that communicates with the Records Bureau.
Yeah.
So that one person in the state will be the person, as Jeff said, we have a national records keeper that is a liaison between. That person should be the person that will certify that those records are on file there. So that makes it easy for Janine, them to contact one person, get the information.
Yeah, we tried to set this up where we had a national database of all the members of the Republic, and the governor's raised so much cane, said, y'all trying to rule over us and take over our states and all that, so we just stopped.
That's how the record keeper came about.
Lorian, I think you...
I hate to do this now, but this is unavoidable. That is the exact problem we're having in Indiana. Without naming we just can't get our DSRs, JCs, et cetera, processed.
Well, are they sending them in?
All I can tell you is that the person who's supposed to be doing the processing has been sitting on it.
In the state, you mean?
Yeah.
That's a problem we got in several states. The governors are the ones doing it. The governors are controlling the information.
Elect a different person to be the administrator and get that person out.
It's a major, complicated situation.
In all states, I think, yeah, 'cause I've heard.
Okay. All right, after we publish the notice, now the patent, the notice, you got to find out what the legal notice requirements are in your area, and you publish it for that many days, whatever it says. Now, if you're going to post it, if your law, your statutes or your codes say you can post it, you need to take 2 witnesses with you, and what I would do is take a digital photo of it being posted, and with the witnesses standing beside it, and when I took it down, I'd record the date I put it up and take the date that I took it down, and I would have the witnesses do an affidavit supporting that. Because you got to prove you posted it properly. Yes, sir.
If we were to sign them up at the time that we're starting this process with them, and have their permission to send it in with the document.
That's fine.
To the Republic.
That's fine.
Would that not be proof enough then?
I don't see why not. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Maybe we ought to attach a DSR with it when we send them in.
Well, we can. That's what.
That's something for. That's something really for the Congress and the Bureau to work together on.
Yeah.
All that, we can't make that decision here. I see a danger in, okay, I've got this benefit you can have, I just need you to sign up.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't really want to do that either.
If they join the Republic, they need to join because they believe in what we're doing.
That's true too.
If they don't believe in what we're doing enough to take that step, we don't need to sign them up.
And if we don't take the time to educate them.
Right.
Well, we're going to have to do a lot of educating. We're going to have to. All right. All right, I've got a note here. It says the Republic Records Bureau will have the Secretary of State complete an apostille for your documents and then record your documents. Then notice of removal from your tax rolls will be sent to your local county land office by the Republic Records Bureau It will be sent by registered mail, that will be. The originals will be returned to the owner by certified mail along with proof of recording and the information on how to view your records. Okay? So you can go online and see the record. Yes?
Will the owner get the documentation for the registered mail label and all that?
Yes. Yeah, you will get all that. That'll be part of the package, yes.
Tammy, is there a deal that has been made that explains what our goals really are, so that gentleman had a good idea that you have people come in and they can watch a DVD?
We have a DVD made, don't we, Mark?
Yeah, I've got 5 of them.
Yeah.
Could I have some?
Yeah, see me, I'll give you a
I've
link.
sent them all out.
Okay.
Yeah, we are working on these issues, believe me. Okay? So that's basically how the system. Now tomorrow we're going to go through step by step all the nuts and bolts, show you how to do it. This is a very simple process. We're going to I'm going to give you some. I'm going to give you all this on a CD, all the forms and everything, so you can actually go through them. And you've got this checklist. The owner also has a checklist that shows him everything he needs to do. Okay, and what he's expected to do, and he also gets a copy of the addresses for the BLM so he can get his land patent. And we need to get this thing rolling. We need to take possession of the land, and it's a big issue for us. Yep. Any questions?
Would there be any problem, say you want to help friends and family who can't really afford much of anything?
That's your business.
Charge your own fee.
No, you don't have to do that. And you can work that out with Tom, and he don't have a problem with that. That would cut $250 off the price. Yes.
Are we going to have a banking system and a currency system?
Yes. Yes.
Soon, or
yeah, pretty soon. Pretty soon. Yeah. Yeah, I can't get into all that.
Do we know where Nation Capital will be at?
Who?
The Capital?
Wherever my office is. We hadn't decided.
Right now you're in. I hope it'll be down south somewhere.
I can tell you a few places it won't be. It won't be in LA and it won't be in Denver. That's a guarantee.
I get a lot of questions from people in Wisconsin about when we're going to be achieving nation status as the Republic of the United States of America. Do you have any idea if you respond to that?
Well, tell them as soon as they tell me when each one of them is going to hit the lottery, I'll be happy to answer that question. There's some things I just don't know. I can't answer. We have already achieved nation status in a lot of places, but has not come out publicly. The reason it's not come out publicly is because we don't have our banking system in place. Okay, until you get a banking system in place and you take control of your land, you're not a nation. That's why we're working so hard to do these things. All of this is part of a big master plan. Everything we're doing is. And it's very important we take control of our land. Got to do the land. Can't be a sovereign on somebody else in somebody else's house. It does not work that way. You got to have your own. And we've got to take our land back in order to do that. So that's what we're working on. Now, there's a lot of changes coming in the first quarter of this year. You're going to see, I think, some major stuff probably in the first quarter. We're going to get stronger. The corporation is going to get weaker. And I just hope they don't collapse before we're ready. That's my biggest concern. If they collapse before we're ready, we're going to have some issues. And I don't know, and we're not ready. We're just not ready. And until we get some better qualified people in some of our positions, and I'm not going to say which particular group I'm talking about, we're in trouble in some of our areas.
President Turner, will we advertise this or just use word of mouth?
Yeah, we can advertise, absolutely. Now, the one reason I set it up the way I did was to kind of protect you, insulate you from directly being involved by going through the major hub. Okay, you don't have to handle any money except your money. You don't have to put your name out there except through that office if you want to do it that way. But if you want to advertise, that's fine. I mean, it's entirely up to you. We respect people's privacy. We understand you're going to have to interact one-on-one with the Republic. to do this process. But if you don't want to be blasted all over the nation, we will keep your name private up there as much as we can and just give it to clients. We won't let anybody else know about anything. So, you know, it's however you want to work it. It's up to you. We're flexible.
Can you bring us up to speed on what's happening internationally towards the Republic?
Internationally, there have been about 130 nations have shown interest in the Republic. Some of them are coming forward. The United Nations has had meetings about us already, and they are discussing the Republic. Many of the nations in the United Nations are very favorable toward us, and some of them are saying, well, why didn't y'all do this years ago? And they understand we got problems. The U.S. corporation has lost all of its credibility worldwide. There's nobody out there hardly wants to even support them anymore. They don't believe anything they say. They have been liars, cheats, and thieves for a long time, and it's caught up with them. Yes, sir.
What we're discussing today is basically residential. Is there any application for commercial?
Yes, it doesn't matter if it's commercial or residential. Works the same.
Property is in the name of a corporation.
Yeah, you can't leave it in the name of a corporation. You have to bring it into the name of an individual. But it works the same way if you do that. Corporations can't own land. People can't. Any other questions?
Have we gotten our quorum of states verified through audit?
Not yet. They're working on that now. Hopefully we're about to get there. It has been very difficult. We need help. We need help in some of the areas in the Republic, I'll tell you. We're doing pretty good. We got some leaders in some of the states that are just absolutely brain dead. That's all I can say. They're just brain dead. They don't get it, and their states are not growing and progressing because they don't get it. Because they're not working with us, they're actually working against us. And there's a handful of them like that. But between Congress and our efforts and the judiciary, we will settle those issues. Any other questions? If not, I'll see you at 8 in the morning.
What time?
8 o'clock. Huh?
You started at 8 tomorrow?
We're going to sign in at 8, start at 9.
What you doing for dinner? My little boys would like to meet you. You know about my little boys.
I guess I'm going to let you feed me.
I'll feed you. I'll feed you, sure.
Well, Mr. Mark, I would love to have one of those DVDs. And I would,
okay.
How much are they?
What's the...
I'd like to get my freedom documents apostilled by our secretary.
You can do that.
You're my hero.
I think